Michael Jackson's estate just scored a big legal win, but I need you to actually understand what this ruling means. Because at first glance, it sounds like the abuse allegations got thrown out. Unfortunately, they didn't. But what actually happened is something a lot more complicated and honestly a lot more interesting. Let's break it down after the intro. If you don't know this family's history, you need to because it makes this story hit different. Edward, Dominic, Marie, Nicole, and Aldo Cascio, plus their brother Frank, grew up close to Michael Jackson. Close enough that they called themselves his second family. And for years, they weren't just quiet about it. They were some of the Jacksons' most vocal public defenders. In 2010, several of them went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and said on camera that Jackson was never inappropriate with them. Frank Castillo wrote in a 2011 memoir that Jackson's love for children was innocent and it was profoundly misunderstood. These weren't outsiders speculating. These were people who said publicly and repeatedly that the abuse allegations against Jackson were wrong. So, what's the charge, you ask? The Castillos say it was the 2019 HBO documentary Leaving Neverland. They've said that watching it deprogrammed them, made them reconsider experiences they've spent years defending. Well, that same year, 2019, the family reached a settlement with Jackson's estate, reportedly worth around 3.5 million. The estate didn't admit any wrongdoing as part of that deal, and buried inside that settlement was an arbitration clause, a clause that's about to become the entire center of this story. So let's fast forward to February of this year, 2026. The Castillo siblings filed a new lawsuit, this time a child SCX trafficking lawsuit, against Jackson's estate in federal court in Los Angeles. Their claim that Michael groomed, isolated, and abused them as minors over more than a decade using his wealth and celebrity to do it. I want to be very clear here. The Jackson estate categorically denies all of this. These are allegations, not proven facts, and Jackson isn't alive to respond to them himself. Keep that in mind. So here's what's actually happening this week. On Wednesday, August 12th, U.S. District Judge Herman D. Vera ruled on this case, but not on whether the allegations are true. He ruled on something much narrower, whether this case could even be heard in open court at all. His answer was no. He found that the 2019 settlement's arbitration clause is enforceable and that it covers the new lawsuit as well. Now, in his own words, and I quote, although the allegations are horrific, the court is without discretion to do aught but enforce the language of the arbitration clause. The Casillos had actually tried to argue that a 2021 federal law, the Ending Forced Arbitration of Sexual Assault and Sexual Harassment Act, should void that old arbitration agreement. Well, the judge said no, that law doesn't apply retroactively to a settlement signed back in 2019. So, what does this actually mean in plain English? The case doesn't get resolved, it doesn't get thrown out on its own merits. It just moves from a public federal courtroom into a private, confidential arbitration process, meaning no jury, no public trial, and probably no public record of whatever happens next. Well, the Casillo's attorney, Howard King, did not hold back. He told Billboard and Rolling Stone, quote, "It's disappointing, but not surprising that the decision on whether the Casillos were duped into signing an unconscionable agreement with an arbitration clause will be made by an arbitrator rather than a jury of peers." He continued, the family had hoped the court would allow for a public trial over the decades long molestations of the Casillo siblings by Michael Jackson and the ensuing cover up by his advisors. Instead, the family will seek justice from the dark confines of a private conference room. That's according to him. That's a pointed line. The dark confines of a private conference room. He's telling you exactly what his clients think about losing their shot at a public jury. On the estate side, they've maintained their position throughout. They vehemently deny all claims of sexual misconduct, and their attorneys did not immediately comment further after this specific ruling. Here's why I think this ruling actually matters beyond just this one case. This isn't the first time this exact scenario has played out, okay? A separate California state and court judge made basically the identical ruling back in March in Frank Casillo's individual case using the same 2019 settlement. So there's now a real pattern here. Arbitration clauses buried inside old settlements and proven to be a powerful legal shield, keeping these kind of allegations out of public courtrooms entirely. Whatever you believe about the underlying allegations, that's worth understanding because it's not unique to the Jacksons estate, okay? This is a legal strategy playing out across a lot of high profile cases involving wealthy estates and institutions. So, without all that being said, here's my honest opinion on this. And I want to be clear up front because I was not there, okay? And I don't know what happened, so I can't say one way or another. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I believe one side over the other, okay? Even though I'm leaning more towards Michael's side. But I do have some real questions about this whole situation. Number one, let's not let a headline like lawsuit dismissed trick us into thinking a judge decided the allegations aren't true. That's not what happened. A judge decided a contract clause is enforceable. Those are two completely different things. And I think it's important and we're accurate. I mean, I think it's important we're accurate about our reporting that regardless of which side you find more believable, regardless of which side you find more believable, here's where I am with it honestly. This family has spent years publicly, repeatedly defending Mike on Oprah in a memoir, saying he was never inappropriate with them. And now, after a documentary came out and after they already collected a multi-million dollar settlement, the story flips completely. I'm not saying that means they're lying, by no means. People do genuinely reprocess trauma, and documentaries can absolutely shift how someone understands their own past. That's real. But I also think it's fair to ask questions when a complete reversal like this lines up with what? A new lawsuit and the possibility of another significant payout. Both things can be true at once. Genuine reconsideration is possible, and it's reasonable to want more than just change testimony before treating new allegations as established fact. So, where does this leave me? Genuinely undecided on the truth or of the allegations themselves. But I will say this, and this is purely my opinion, not something I can prove. The timing here is not lost on me. Michael Jackson's estate is sitting on more money right now than it has in years. The Michael biopic just became Lionsgate's highest grossing movie of all time, over $1 billion worldwide, and it just landed on Star Streaming literally days before this ruling came down. That movie was made with the estate's cooperation. The same executors who run the estate are now executive producers on it. So, in my honest opinion, I think there's a real chance this is a last ditch effort to grab a piece of that money while the estate is flush with cash from the movie's success. I'm just saying. I could be wrong about that, and I'll admit it if I am. But when a settlement's already been paid once and a brand new lawsuit shows up right as the estate's biggest financial win in years is playing out, I'm allowed to raise an eyebrow on the timing, regardless of whether the underlying allegations are true or not. What I do know is that this arbitration ruling doesn't answer the truth question either way. It just means we're probably never going to get a public trial where any of this actually gets tested in front of a jury. And that, to me, is the most frustrating part of this whole story, regardless of which side you believe. I'm just saying, that's my truth. All right. But going forward, the case now moves into private arbitration, which means we likely won't get the same level of public detail going forward that a federal trial would have produced. I'll keep tracking this and searching for any information I can and everything else happening with the estate and bring you all real updates as they become public. But before you go, if you made it this far, you are already a part of the royal community. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video if I gave you something to think about today. Share it with somebody who needs to see it and drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Do you think arbitration clauses like this one should even be enforceable in cases like this? Let me know below in the comments because I genuinely want to hear from you. And also, I want to know what you think. But before we go, how do you guys feel about me going live and us just sitting around, sitting down, having conversations about hot topics? If you're a longtime subscriber or have went back through any of my old videos, it's something I was doing when I first started this YouTube journey in 2024. I think going live would help us to get to know each other better, as well as for me to see and hear your comments live. I would love to know what you guys think and be able to have that, feedback with you. As well as I want you all to let me know before I even say that, I want you guys to let me know what celebrity topics, reality TV shows, etc. you are most interested in talking about. What kind of news, whatever. What time would be a good time to go live? How often, whether it's daily, once a week, how often, in the afternoon, in the morning? Let me know because this is our royal community and I would love to treat it as such and have the opportunity for us all to interact with each other. Again, I cannot stress it enough. This is our community. So let's build it together. Oh, and if you feel like if you want to support our community, I have made stars and membership tiers available, as well as there are a few links contained in the description, as well as the link tree in the bio. But again, check the description for other ways you can help support and build and grow this channel. Until next time, stay crown royals. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Oh, bye guys.